Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this evening's live stream. Welcome, Gareth, as well.
Welcome. Thank you. Thanks for having me back.
A familiar face. Gaz, our deputy chairman, of course, down in Biggar, and our lead candidate in the south of Scotland. Now, this time last week, on the live stream, we were counting down to the assisted suicide vote, weren't we?
Yes, we were. Very exciting. Yeah. Very exciting.
Yeah. And then we got the results, and I went out to film the end of the party election broadcast straight after that. So that was a big day. That doesn't seem like a week ago, does it? Anyway, so that was a week ago. So let's start there, shall we? This is a picture of us outside the Parliament. Now, we are the kings of placards. I mean, modesty aside, we are the kings of placards, aren't we? I think that display of placards has been in quite a few newspapers, in the Telegraph, the Times. It was in the Sun. I've been in a couple of other places as well. So I think it just makes a great image for the media, and it's well worth it for us to get a bit of attention. So after the vote, which we were obviously pleased about that it didn't pass, we don't want bad things to happen. But I did some sums afterwards, and I took out all the MSPs who are standing down or going to stand as an independent, but they've got no chance of getting back in. So all the MSPs, basically, I think guaranteed they're not going to be back in the Parliament next time. So if you take out the ones who are about to leave, the result on assisted dying was 44, in other words, 40 in favour and 40 against. Oof. So it made it a dead heat.
Oof.
Okay. So just taking out the ones leaving, we're at a dead heat. Bringing a new batch in, which way is that going to tend to move it? I think it will move it in the wrong direction. So if I was campaigning for us, I would be thinking, okay, just bring it back next time. Let's have another go. Liam MacArthur straight away said, this is coming back. He said he's not going to do it, but I think someone else will, and it will be back. Yeah. When they tried in 2010, they tried again 5 years later, in 2015. So I do think I think it'll be back in the next Parliament, and I think it'll pass easily.
Yeah.
Unless there's a massive upsurge in support for the Scottish Family Party, I think this will pass easily in the next Parliament. The votes for 2010, 16. I mean, that's quite something, isn't it? I mean, how do you feel if you bring forward a bill and only 16 MSPs vote for it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty embarrassing, really.
But what would you do? How would you address that?
I think basically they just said, okay, let's just leave the BBC to do their job. Let's just wait. Public opinion's coming our way. Let's get a new batch of MSPs in. Then they tried again. Was it 34 the next time?
Yeah.
So they doubled it. Again, nowhere near passing. Nowhere near. But did they say, oh, no, how embarrassing, we failed again? Not at all. They just said, okay, let's just wait. The BBC's keeping working for us. With media's on our side. Public opinion's coming around. Let's wait till we have another election or two. Then let's try again.
I'm not so sure they waited. I mean, this is my skeptical, my skeptical view would say they didn't just wait. It was influencing public opinion, influencing the BBC, influencing education. You know what I mean? They would have addressed it at root and tried to normalize this idea that we can terminate the life of an elderly person.
Yeah, but they would have been campaigning. I don't think they're particularly important in the campaign. I don't think MSPs were the key part of the campaign, but they would have been campaigning all this time. Then they bring it back 2025 and got 70 votes in favour at the first stage one. So that was a pass, but then it was narrowly defeated at the second stage. So if I was them, I would look at the graph and think, okay, we didn't quite make it this time. Don't worry about it. Let's have an election. Let's clear out some of these ones who weren't so keen. Get a new batch in, and I reckon we'll be fine. And sadly, I think that's what's going to happen. So it was a rare success in the Parliament. How often do we sit here saying the Parliament made a right decision? I mean,
no, that is well, my optimism inside the optimist in me would say maybe there is a counter kind of wave coming, but I would say unless people start putting their votes towards conservative nature and demonstrating that, it will happen.
Yeah, I guess there's hope in the fact that people reconsider. I guess the last change in the graph was a little dip from 70 voting for it. It went down to, was it 57 or 59, 59, whatever. So it went down a bit between stage 1 and stage 2. So I guess there's something there. But at the moment, the party leaders, John Swinney was against it, Kate Forbes was against it, Anna Sarwar were against it, Russell Finley eventually was against it. So party leaders tended to be against it. There are a couple of disabled MSPs. I think they were quite influential. They'll be gone in the next parliament as well. So I think it's a tall order to stop this next time. I think a tall order. But as we say in the party election broadcast, people need to vote, make it a voting issue. You can't sort it out after the election. All the campaigners and lobbyists, they can only work with who's in there. If they're on there, we're done. So, yep. Right. Anything else to say on that? So I've got a slight fear that some people might be thinking, oh, that just shows, you see, we can vote for these mainstream parties, elect a bunch of randomers, find out what they think, and then we can sort it out later.
Yes. I was wondering if this was tactical to give that kind of like, hey, they're not so bad, kind of like, just before the parliament election.
Yeah, I think you're right. Think about Russell Finley, leader of the Scottish Conservatives. If he'd have voted for it at the he voted for it at the first stage. If he'd have voted for it at the second stage, I guess that probably would have hit him in the ballot box a little bit. I think he would have been more worried. He was happier to say, I was for it in principle, but I didn't quite like the details. So, hey, if you're for it, I'm on your side, so vote for me. And if you're against it, well, look, I voted against it.
Yes.
So and as a party leader, so I think there might have been a bit of that with some of them. They thought it was the safer option at the end of the day. So, yeah, I agree. I agree. Right. So, yeah, that seems like old news now. We've got quite a few stories like this tonight. Right, John, we're going to talk about the hustings later on. John, just looking at the comments there. We've got a few stories like this. Politicians under fire for things they've said or whatever. So this is Anna Sarwar. It was at some sort of event. He sort of photographed himself or something. It looked like he was pulling a funny face. His funny expression on his face. And he said, it looks like I've had a stroke. And it ends up, formal apology, the, Stroke Association of Scotland saying this is a really terrible thing to say. And Anna Sarwar apologized for it. And it's a front page BBC News story. What do you think?
I think there's a Facebook thing where the policeman kept on doing the same thing, where he was saying something which seemed totally reasonable and then ended up needing to apologize for a group. I would like to think that there's still people, and people sometimes just say things maybe not, and they don't mean to be offensive, and so I would like to think that people could understand that isn't that wasn't deliberate, and therefore I don't think I'd like to I think a lot of people could say some things about me and maybe my maybe my mistakes as well, unless it's intentional, unless there's intent. I think it's a bit of an overreaction.
Yeah, I agree. But if I was doing something publicly like that, I wouldn't say that.
Yeah,
I definitely wouldn't say it. I think Anna Sarwar, he'll be kicking himself. But does anyone really believe Anna Sarwar holds some sort of animosity or contempt towards people who've had a stroke? Well, of course he doesn't. That's a ridiculous thing to believe. So I think sometimes it's disappointing the way these organizations jump on it to really be the active victim. It's like if someone's looking for something, they can't see you say, are you blind?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe in public, I'd maybe try and avoid saying that, but really, is that offensive to blind people? I mean, not really. Not right. I sort of don't get it. So I think that's a bit of a nonsense. But I think it's difficult for the politician. If you find yourself in that situation, I bet all your advisors say to you, just apologize straight away and then move on.
Yeah. Yeah,
if you
take it seriously. Go. Yeah, it was a bit like the responses I got in the emails to the voting thing, as you just mentioned. a lot of them were like, I thought about this really hard and really, a massive long spiel. And I was like, everyone said exactly the same thing. Had to describe how intently they thought about it. And but I think they did think about it, but not. It wasn't down the lines that they wrote. So yeah, I'd like to think that somebody could, it doesn't sound like something he put in his speech. It sounds like something he would
just
react to. Somebody shows him a photo and he just reacts to it.
Yeah.
So
I would say, in that situation, if you don't think you've actually done anything wrong, or you think there's an overreaction, I think there's sort of a duty on you to push back a bit and say, no, this is not such a big deal.
It's not what I intended, yeah.
Because if everyone just backs down and grovels and apologizes, it creates the culture of that's expected. Yeah. So anyway, so Anna Sawa, we're sort of being on your side there. So, right, this is slightly different. This Humza Yousaf a little while ago, and he tweeted that he was supported during Ramadan or whatever. He's saying, why don't you donate to this organization called Every Pregnancy? So Humza Yousaf, the sort of arch abortion proponent, urging people to support a charity called Every Pregnancy. Do you think it even crossed his mind that it was a bit ironic?
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised. I am a bit surprised that he would do that.
Yeah. I mean, the organization, the charity, has nothing to do with abortion. It's just about supporting pregnant women.
Yeah.
So it's nothing to do with abortion. But the lack of awareness to realize, oh, hang on a minute, I'm a sort of very much pro-abortion person, and this charity is called Every Pregnancy. Maybe this is going to look a bit odd for me. Do I think that thought even passed through his mind? No idea. Right, Duncan, I'm glad you understand. That's great. Humza Yousaf, of course, if he's supporting anything, it's normally a Muslim or Asian thing. So I'm not against Muslims or Asians, but I'm against people who always want to align with their own identity. I don't think that's very healthy. Right, a bit more election campaign news. So Anna Sawa made a speech where he said, I want to be a first minister for Glasgow. We need a Glaswegian first minister, a first minister who understands Glasgow. Which think, if you're trying to be the first minister of Scotland, I mean, can you really go around saying that your special priority is Glasgow?
Yeah.
I mean, he's trying to get himself elected. Maybe he thinks Glasgow is where there's a lot of votes. But to me, that seems like a bit of an odd tactic to focus just on Glasgow. And so what do the SNP do? They put this out. An SNP candidate puts this out. So we've got Anna Sawa with a traffic cone on his head to symbolize Glasgow, saying Sawa doesn't give a stuff about Aberdeen or anywhere else for that matter. Yeah, because Anna Sawa said, for me, Glasgow is the best city in the world. It's time we had a first minister from Glasgow for Glasgow.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, my overall view on this is just it's pitiful that this is the level of debate in Scottish politics.
Yeah.
Just putting out a picture of someone with a traffic cone on their head. This is not some rogue constituency branch somewhere. I mean, this is an MSP putting it out for his election campaign. I mean, we wouldn't dream of putting something out like that. Picture of someone with a traffic cone on their head. I mean,
no, but even if, for example, even if you did disagree, I'm assuming the is it Kevin Stewart? I'm struggling to see him on my phone. Was he
Kevin Stewart? Yeah.
I'm guessing he's from Aberdeen, right?
Yeah.
Well, you could argue he's just done the same thing, right? He's only for Aberdeen.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's just the whole thing. And what Anna Sawa said was not smart, really.
Yeah.
And what this SNP bloke's done, I mean, it's like childish, isn't it? Oh, I could repeat this sort of story time and time again. But Scottish politics. Right. From the ridiculous to the sublime. So this is the new Family Party website. If you haven't had a look at it, I would strongly recommend that you do. It's really good. In fact, shall we have a quick look at it now?
Oh, if you can.
Let's share screen. Share screen. And where are we? Family party. There we are. Right, so this is our website, Election Ready. A nice picture on these are the issues on the leaflet, so you can click on one of them. When you click on one, which one do you want to know about, Gareth? Pick an issue.
Education. I'm still concerned about education.
Education, where's that? High standards in schools. So you click it, and then it goes through to Chat SFP. So you've just asked it a question, and it's going to tell you all about our education policies with a few videos in, etc. Then if you've got any more questions, you can just type them in at the bottom. So Gareth, got any more questions about education?
I'm concerned about my son's going into high school, so I'm concerned about what content he might be faced with.
Content in high school. Concerns. Right, let's have a look. Let's see what our robot comes up with.
Oh, I'm concerned. I'm actually, I'm worried it's going to show a whole lot of dodgy stuff. Wow.
Yeah, so academic rigor in the curriculum, objective assessment, lack of critical thinking, sex and relationships education, LGBT and gender ideology, drugs, alcohol, and social media, and like political indoctrination and anti-racism. So it's all there.
Wow.
I mean, no other party has anything like this, as far as we're aware. We are unique in this. So let's have a look what else. Let's go to the the stars are not there. Oh no, let's go to this. So I guess most of you have done this. So you can scroll through yourself. I won't go through the whole thing. You can do it yourself. If you go to our website though and click on the pro-life bit, then you can go through this interactive experience that Phil Holden made. It's very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is showing the number of abortions in Scotland each year. So about 1970, it's about 6,000. Then around about 13,000 by there, down a bit, and then has sort of gone crazy just recently with pills by post, gone up very dramatically.
It was actually of course the reduction was because of COVID initially, and then pills by post have overdone it.
Yes, yeah,
and that's not going to slow down, is it? Like the graph is just, it's not near taping off.
Yeah, I think it's going to go up and up. When it does start going down, that will maybe be because the population is declining.
Well,
that's
definitely it is declining already. We know that.
Yeah. Another factor as well is that since COVID in particular, but generally people are going out and doing social things less. People are tending to sit at home watching the telly. And apparently sitting at home watching the telly doesn't make babies or doesn't result in abortions in the same way that like going out clubbing or whatever tends to. So there's been a general, particularly younger people. Younger people are becoming a bit more conservative as well. So I think there are behavioral factors as well.
Yeah.
Right, good evening. Look at the website and Chat SFP. It looks really great. Oh, thank you very much for your compliments. Do share it around. Right, so that was a quick look at that. This is our theme for the evening. Embarrassed or embarrassing MSPs. What do we think of this one? So this is Mark MacDonald, who basically, he was an SNP MSP. He was a minister as well. He was the children's minister. That's a few years ago now. And he sent a dodgy text to a female member of staff. It was out of order. I won't tell you exactly what it said, but it was out of order. It was a sort of sexual thing. And the way it was as though, well, it was just very, very inappropriate to send this sort of sexual joke to a female member of staff. So it all came out, and it happened to be around the time of the Me Too movement. So he was chopped by the SNP and he lost his seat. Didn't stand at the next election. And that was the end of him. To be honest, I thought it was maybe a bit harsh. And if it hadn't been the Me Too season, it maybe would have been overlooked, like Angus MacNeil in the Western Isles, who was sort of caught in bed with two schoolgirls, but that wasn't in the Me Too moment, so that was okay.
Wow.
Whereas him sending this dodgy
Joke.
WhatsApp message or whatever. So I think he was treated a bit harshly, I would say. But he's obviously still in the SNP, and he went to the SNP conference. And it ended up, people were saying the SNP has failed women after letting this person come to the conference. And there were women saying, we didn't feel safe at the conference with this man there.
You're kidding.
Which I think is nonsense.
As I'm hanging on with it, but the other guy who was like bedding schoolgirls,
yeah,
that guy's still around, and no.
Yeah, he was an MP until he lost his seat at the last election. He was going to stand for Alba, but Alba's folded. He was the Western Isles MSP for a very long time. Unbelievably, the Western Isles kept voting for this person whose track record was appalling. I mean, he was basically drunk in the House of Commons as well, some occasions, all sorts of things happening with him. Really dreadful. But anyway, but I just think it's bonkers that they're trying to make out that the women need protecting from being in the same room as this man.
And that's because he sent, obviously, yes, I get inappropriate, but it was the intent, was it to be rude or funny? I'm guessing he just.
I think he was trying to be funny and maybe flirtatious.
Okay, right. Okay, flirtatious is a bit bad, but yeah.
It was out of order. It was really out of order. But I don't think it was a sacking offence.
No, but why would so the worst? I think for me the somebody saying I feel unsafe with that person being there. I guarantee you there were probably 110 other people there who you legitimately should feel that you had no idea. Yeah. You had no idea. So.
I think it's people like pouncing on the chance to have a go at someone.
Yeah.
All right, we've got him on the ropes. Right. We're the victims here. So it's totally over the top. So right, here we go. Right, next story. This happens so often. Family Party talks about it, I think, years ago. I remember talking about this in a live stream. And I think it's literally years ago. And now the Conservatives have caught up with it and have made some comment about it. And this is the thing where there's a program for kids in school, primary school in particular, where they're taught to massage each other.
Yes.
It's all that therapeutic well-being. So, get in pairs and massage each other. I mean,
I can concur that, because my kids came back going, I learned how to massage, and I was like, you did what? And I was like, no. But it was only once or twice. Like, so it does. It is like I question how that even became relevant. Like I get somebody might think that's a good idea in terms of the stress release, whatever the case may be. But having other kids just do that to other kids, I think no. That's just totally inappropriate. You just do not need to.
No.
It's just no. I feel totally uncomfortable, and they were uncomfortable. Like I could see they were uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean, to be blunt, if you're talking about slightly older kids, if you've got, a boy who fancies one of the girls, and right, hello, boys and girls, it's massage session today. Then the boy, oh right, I know, I know where I want to head. Looking forward. I mean, it's just common sense, isn't it? And then, are the teachers going to be involved? I mean, there's all these stories, constant string of stories of inappropriate behavior by teachers. I mean, this would be a godsend to them, using the wrong term. They'd be thinking, oh, fantastic. Well, it's in the lesson plan. I can go and give the boys a bit of a massage. Absolutely bonkers. But it's been going on for years. And because there's no Scottish Family Party MSPs in the Parliament, it hasn't been raised until now. I think there should be a serious alarm bell issues. But the people bringing it forward, I would imagine they're entirely well-meaning. They're into restorative practice and therapeutic and circle time and share how you're feeling and all this sort of thing. And they just think it's an extension of everyone being really nice to each other. But again, I think there's a thing that probably girls might be sort of a bit okay, but a lot of boys would just think, no, we don't want that.
No,
if I was at school, I don't know what I'd do. I'd run a mile from anything
I
like
would
that.
hate it. I would absolutely have my buddy give me a massage. No, absolutely not.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. It's breaking down barriers, isn't it?
it is. You mentioned well-meaning. I'm not sure about that. I think somebody's coerced the well-meaning people to as you say, break down the barriers. It's in line with the other concerning things we see. So again, the skeptical inside me says there was maybe ill intent, which has been used.
Yeah, I mean, it's not impossible. I mean, you've got people who are wanting, to break down the barrier between childhood and sexuality. Children
Yes.
need to be exploring their sexuality. I mean, you're absolutely right. Actually, you're absolutely right. It may be that sort of thinking was behind it. So children need to be exploring their nascent sexuality in different ways. Maybe this is a way you can start to explore these things. Yeah, maybe.
It's one step in the right direction for
yeah. But you would hope with this sort of thing that day one, a teacher would smash the alarm, whistle blow, report it to the media, and this would blow up straight away. But no.
And no, I think they would be too afraid to, because they've been told this is the curriculum and this is what you'll do.
Yeah. Right, toxic and shameful reform candidates. Right, we're into more of this sort of thing. Shall we go on to that now? Why don't we? We'll save the hustings for a minute. Right, we're going to look at some reform candidates. They introduced their candidates just a few days ago, and as expected, there's been a flurry of stories about them. Journalists will have been sitting up all night at their computer searching for the reform candidates to see what they can dig up on them. And I was pretty confident that they'd dig up a fair amount. So we'll look through and see what we think's fair and what we think's not really fair. The reform say we've been working really hard to vet our candidates. In a sense, I feel sorry for parties, because you're trying to vet 73 candidates reform will have. I mean, how do you check so? Okay, even people who are extremely flawed and embarrassing to your party potentially, they can put on a good show in as many interviews as you like. I mean, how far back you're going to search through their social media? Can you really have more resources than the actual media to check people? I don't know. It's quite difficult. But let's have a look. Right, let's get screen sharing. Let's start with this one. So, Reform UK leader apologizes over homophobic joke about George Michael. Malcolm Offord cracked a vile joke about the pop star's late partner in 2018. Right, my first thought is a joke from 2018. Well, I'm certainly not convinced yet, but let's see what else we've got about it. Offord apologized at the time and made a donation to charity. The charity was the LGB Alliance. So he apologized and made a donation to an LGB charity. Right, that tells me that even he admits that was pretty way off, out of order.
Yeah, and did something to recover and restore it.
Yeah.
What was the
eyewitness told the record?
Sorry, was this joke in a public statement? It was a.
It was given a speech at Burns Night at a London Scottish rugby club. So people who were there have reported it. Let's find some more details. Right. Speech itself is a bizarre attempt to link the songs of George Michael with the works of Robert Burns, etc., etc. Right. Apparently, people who were there were horrified, even for a rugby club. Okay, it was crude, bad taste, and insulting. So we apologise, made this donation to charity. But I'm looking for a key thing here, which is that the newspaper, the Daily Record, said they're not going to publish what the joke was because it's so offensive. They're not going to tell us what he actually said. And all the other media have said the same thing. All the other newspapers have reported this, but have said it's too obscene and offensive to actually recount what he said.
Oh, wow.
So what's my feeling on that? Is it really that bad, or are they wanting, or are they actually thinking it's
Yes.
maybe not too bad? We want people to think it's really bad.
Oh yeah,
So,
that's I not thought I didn't think that way, but yeah.
so in your estimation, I mean, have these attacks hit home? Do you feel
So
that that's revealed something concerning, or do you think this is a bit of nonsense?
8 years ago, he apologized. Um, I'm thinking about the guy like with Will Smith, for example, where he made a joke about somebody who's ill and his wife, and that was bad character. But you could see the intent behind it, and there was no, as far as I could see, no sign of remorse. You know what I mean? Whereas here, I think he just misread his audience. It probably seemed funny at the time, and so in terms of, I'm on the fence. Like I would like to have seen the joke, but as you mentioned, maybe the joke wasn't actually that bad, and I'd need to see the joke to make a decision. I need more evidence.
I guess actually the other thing is, if the joke wasn't that bad, Malcolm Offord would be saying, "Look, this is what I said," and it actually wasn't that bad. But my take on it probably had quite a bit to drink, and my take is it does reflect badly on him. He has apologized or whatever, so I think it does hit home to some degree. And I guess that someone could apologize. I mean, he's apologizing because he's leader of Reform UK. It seems like he apologized nearer to the time as well.
Yeah.
So I think it doesn't reflect well on him. But it's not. Well, yeah, let's just say, but I think it must have been pretty bad, pretty obscene and offensive. And well, I guess it's for everyone to weigh how important they think that is. I find it frustrating that they won't tell us what he says.
Yes.
I want to judge for myself.
The only other thing is he is the leader of Reform. Is that, well, at the time he was?
No, well, not in 2018. He was a Conservative peer then, probably.
Right. Okay. I got you. Okay. Well, they see that also that does make a little bit of a difference. I hope you don't mind me saying, but I think you would be held more to an account than what I would.
Yeah, but I've had this. They've tried this sort of thing with me, where they try and have the headline. I mean, the one as soon as the family party started, there was one of the first media reports of us was the national newspaper. This article: Richard Lucas made sick joke about Joe Cox being murdered, and the article, I won't even bother telling the story again, but it was totally misrepresented. It made it sound like I said, ha, 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 Joe Cox got murdered. It doesn't remotely like that. Obviously, I won't explain the whole thing. Or do you want me to explain? No, I won't explain this all again. It was totally misrepresented. And it was their mission to not actually explain all of what I'd said. And I think of the whole article, they didn't actually explain what I'd said and give people the chance to weigh it up for themselves. But I think in this case, Malcolm Offord has acknowledged that it was way out of order. Anyway, let's move on. There's one.
Yeah.
So I think that's it. Yeah. Doesn't reflect well on him, but
it doesn't. But I think he reacted reasonably well in terms of people can make mistakes, and I think he did acknowledge it. And so yeah, so I would say I wouldn't. Yeah, so I'm still undecided in terms of, I don't think, I'm also just, as you mentioned, the media are going to be looking to exasperate the situation. So let's just assume that that's maybe happened as well, and so it's probably not that bad.
Okay, for some strange reason, the software is not showing me the other things I want to share on screen. Let me just have another look. Got that one. Let's try this one. All right, so hopefully this will work now. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Right, toxic and shameful. So this is from the Scottish Sun. I mean, the Daily Record would be on the warpath with Reform. Scottish Sun, I'm not quite sure. Dozens of Reform Scots candidates exposed as members of vile racist campaign group. Right. I think the headline's a bit over the top, but let's have a look. Right. Dozens of Reform UK Holyrood candidates are part of a campaign group where members spread racist conspiracy theories and branded Muslims as cancer and invaders. Right. So let's carry on and have a look. Let's find some quotations. So the article starts with comments from other politicians having a go at them. And then later on, you get to what people have said. So one comment said that Muslims would try and take over once the party they voted for are in, and another branded Islam an evil cult. And another one said a picture of a mosque or Islamic center or something, and they commented, bunch of invaders. Right, what do you reckon?
This is reform. not. So yeah, so I think that might just be people picking up on what they're seeing a lot of in terms of other people saying just rhetoric that people are going around and just thinking it's okay to say those things. To whom are they saying these things? This is at the
it's just in their Facebook group.
Oh,
it's a public group, but it was a Reform UK Facebook group.
Yeah,
but I would say, a bunch of invaders. If you've seen a picture of people at a mosque, talking about them as a bunch of invaders, it's just really excessive. It's just unfair. So for other people in the mosque to be told you're an invader when they're thinking, well, I was born here and I'm just trying to, get my business growing and get my kids into the better school. I mean, okay, I'm not minimizing that. There are probably a lot of Muslims who do see themselves, their mission of changing or Islamicizing Scottish society in the same way that I see part of my mission is like it's Christianizing it. But to see a picture of people in a mosque and say a bunch of invaders, I think it's pub talk. It's pub talk. If you want to be in public life, if you want to be a politician, you've got to be responsible and accurate in what you say. You can't just mouth off as though you're in the Reform Scotland Facebook group. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Right. Another one said, saw a picture of migrants arriving in a small boat, I assume. Said invasion, domination, populate, caliphate, Sharia law, Muslim Brotherhood, cancer.
Yeah. Well, I think they're picking up on what they would be hearing as well. I can see it in the Facebook streams as well. I can see it, and that is probably what they're thinking of invasion. They're not thinking people at a mosque. They're potentially also looking at the media of where they took over. What's his name? Oh, sorry, forgetting the square. The what's the name square?
Trafalgar Square.
Trafalgar Square. Thank you. And at that point going, wait, what's going on here? So there's a lot of pushing forward on an agenda and they're reacting to that. But I do think that I think they are maybe not considering the whole picture and they're just being swept along, if that makes sense. And yet not taking a thoughtful.
Yeah. I would say caliphate. I mean, basically, Muslim nations are not seeking a caliphate. That's not really on the agenda. I mean, ISIS tried it, but generally that's not on the Muslim. I think invasion. I think a lot of people arriving on small boats, they don't see themselves as Muslim missionaries to come and take over Britain for Islam. They see themselves as people who want to live somewhere where you can earn 10 times as much money.
Yeah. And some of them are Christian.
I think there are valid concerns. I mean, there are Muslims who do see things like that. But this sort of language, think of this sort of language as well. There's just totally giving up on any interaction. Just say, you're the enemy, we're us, you're them. That's it. It's war.
And that's exactly what I was saying was that it feels like the pendulum has completely passed the middle and is now heading on the wrong side where it's going to create an extreme reaction rather than a conservative reaction. You know what I mean? Some kind of well, wait a second, maybe there's a way that we can not have the two extremes.
Right, here's one. All right. In a post about Humza Yousaf, one user said, get him out with his extended family. Right, I would say to that point blank wrong. You should not say that. Same
Yeah.
with Anna Sarwar. People saying he should be deported. Absolutely wrong.
No.
So I'd be very. So I think if candidates have said that, I would suggest that they should be chopped if they say that.
Yes. Yes. No. No. The
Um,
reason, and the reason is quite simple. How would you like it if somebody said that to you or to
well, they
me? You
have.
know.
I've had that.
Oh.
Go back to England from some of our nice inclusive SNP people.
Yeah, but exactly that's no way to behave to somebody. That isn't a dialogue. There's no debate there. There's no kind of like
Uh-huh.
let's understand and come up with a way of that benefits both,
Yeah.
or comes to some sort of conclusive improvement of
Yeah.
the situation.
So Malcolm Offer's conclusion is that just these are real people with real opinions. Well, I don't see how that answers the question in the slightest, but yeah. So there's some of those. Yeah, concerning. I would say that that's people who are showing that they're not really suitable for the role of being an MSP. I wouldn't say they're necessarily really bad people, but there's some substance in what they're saying. I'm not saying what they're saying is completely groundless. There are some valid concerns, but I say it's pub talk, not political candidate talk. Anyway, let's try and get the next one. Right, here we go. There's just one more. Right. What do we think of this one? Right, Reform UK suspends Scotland candidate over financial allegations. So this candidate for Dundee City West, he runs a business. He took an emergency COVID loan to keep his business afloat, basically, then just took it himself. Paid it into his own bank account, invested it on the stock market, and yeah. So they're saying he was banned from running a business because of this. I think the bloke should be in prison, for goodness sake. I mean, that's fraud. I don't know why he's just been banned from being a company director or whatever. I mean, that sounds terrible. No, they were absolutely slam dunk, and they've suspended. I mean, he's got to be chopped. I mean, he can't be standing for election. I mean, if he was in the SNP, obviously, it would maybe fit in there.
He's fine. He's in line for finance minister. No,
they make him the treasurer.
Yeah,
He'll be SNP's treasurer by the end of the week.
So now we're going to end up ourselves. We're going to end up in hot water. It's interesting. On that one, I think what happened was they said you could admit, come and self-declare these situations and pay back the money.
Right.
So I think, which is why you didn't land up in jail. You didn't land up with because they did have an amnesty kind of like situation to go and say, if you did that and you did actually just take the money, you can actually give it back because we're going to come find you. You know, I think the government is beginning to do that.
Yeah.
But it does, when it comes to MSP, I would like to think two things. One, they would never lie, and I think that's probably, other than the Scottish Family Party, I would probably struggle to rely on that. So and this whole thing with the finances is the evidence of that. You know what I mean? It's to prove that you have never lied because you've been faithful in your finances. You'll be faithful in your dealings and in whatever you say, and therefore it's an incredibly important. And because of that, because you're so your second thing is you're acting in good faith, the whole time. So you're trustworthy with your words and you're trustworthy with your actions. And I think an MSP has to be and demonstrate that. They have to have the perception, the perception of being unfaithful in your words or in your deeds. Like with Keir Starmer, having somebody come and apologize that he did actually work with that, that lawyer and all the rest. That just shows you that there's a lack of faithfulness in his deeds and words, and that for me is a disqualifying factor.
Yeah, I think what happens to a lot of parties is having a lot of money counts a lot for you. So if you've made a lot of money, and that's why Malcolm Offord is leader of Reform. He made a lot of money in the City of London. Then he gave a lot of it to the Conservative Party, who made him a peer. And then Reform think, oh, he's been a peer in the House of Lords. He must be the sort of person we want. And he's in there. If you look at the leaders of Reform, generally they're people who've made an awful lot of money. Now, if someone's made a lot of money, my overall opinion is well done. You must have done something. You must have been good at something. There's a lot of luck in it as well, but you've been good. So all credit for it. That is a qualifying factor. You've been successful in some field. But some people make a lot of money by being total crooks as well. And do parties really make the effort to find the difference? I think basically they don't. They don't. I mean, some people, look at some politicians who made a lot of money. I mean, would you imagine that they'd been honest and fair business people?
No.
Maybe, probably not. Very ruthless. Probably anything goes in their business book. So I think reform of pay the. But what is it about politics that attracts these people? I don't know.
I was just going to say it's almost like the qualifying factor. Like if somebody's in politics and they're reasonably wealthy, there must be some business deals going under the sea. You know, that they're doing something, because otherwise they wouldn't be there. You know what I mean? They'd be making money elsewhere. So there's something dodge happening, and I think this is why, you know, maybe having a random ballot selection for your minister, or the first minister, might be a better option, because no one can understand. You know, there's always this possibility that they're there for the wrong motives, and and it is concerning. It is concerning. I think there's enough evidence to suggest that there is manipulation going on, and it's not.
But apparently, Labour. I've said this before. Labour's lead candidate in Edinburgh and Lothians East is this businessman, Asian businessman, who used to be in the SNP, used to be in Alba, joined Labour, and has got voted to the top of the list. And apparently local Labour activists are saying, hey, what, who? He's won the election? What? How did that happen? And I've heard the suggestion that there's been entryism. He's got all these mates to come and join the Labour Party. So they've got a vote, and they voted him to the top of the list. And it looks like he's going to get in.
Wow. Wow,
very interesting.
I mean, that's not the first time we're seeing that now.
But I say with someone like Malcolm Offord, I think with reform, they don't seem to have a system to identify talent within their own ranks. I mean, they're saying they've got over 13,000 members in Scotland. That's a lot of people. If you've got 13,000 members, there should be some people who are extremely good, extremely capable to put on the political front line out of that number. But they don't seem to have any process to bring them forward. So they just have to pick the person. Oh, he was in the Conservatives. He's got lots of money, so he'll do. Because I don't think Malcolm Offord, I don't think he's that great as a political performer. I just think there must be better people. Anyway, enough about reform. Let's move on to where are we? Let's get that back. So the Hustings last night. It was organised by Logos Scotland, as a Christian think tank, and we were delighted to be invited. So that was brilliant. I really enjoyed the evening. Now, those rostrums there, people say about them that they look like wheelie bins, don't they?
Is that actually them? Did you stand at those?
No, it was just online. They just used that image.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Notice the wheelie bins. There's a wheelie bin for Labour, SNP, Conservative, Lib Dems, Greens, and Reform. So there's a wheelie bin for every other party, but not the family party. I thought it was
where's the white one?
Prophetic and symbolic thing. All the other parties are heading for the bin, obviously.
No white one.
To put your bins. Yeah. This is what's going to be like in a few years when the recycling gets more and more complicated. That's what it's going to be like outside your house. Anyway, so the event. So we had Ross Greer was there, co-leader of the Scottish Greens. Murdo Fraser was there. And then it was candidates for the other Holyrood parties. So they're not MSPs at the moment, but they were hoping to become MSPs. So in this sort of event, you never know what the questions are going to be. So in my opening statement, I thought I've got to get the pro-life bit in. So I really got the pro-life message in my opening statement. But then it kept coming up in other questions as well. So I just had a lot of opportunities to talk pro-life. And one of the questions was, what do you think about the Scottish government's expert advisory group on abortion? It's basically recommending decriminalisation and extreme liberalisation to allow abortion up to full term for what seem like laxer conditions than you currently need up to 24 weeks. So massive liberalisation. And the other candidates, the Christians that have been put forward, there wasn't a pro-life sentiment from any of them.
Wow.
They were all saying, on the basic pro-life issue, they're saying, oh, well, maybe we need to improve childcare. Maybe if you improve childcare, then not as many women will have abortions. That's what it really means to be pro-life.
That makes no sense.
This sort of thing.
The
and then you've got some of these, just the
so
classic, yeah. Then you just get the sort of classic pro-abortion lines like, if you ban abortion, more women die. Just not true. Or if you ban abortion, it doesn't change the number of abortions. They just go underground. It's just not true. So
did they say that they were Christians? They said, "Oh, I am a Christian."
Yes. Well, they were there on the basis that they were Christians. This was a hustings for Christians.
Right. So each one had to represent themselves as a Christian.
Yes.
Wow.
That's why we were there. Yeah.
And you're saying the rest were not pro-life?
No.
Wow.
Not in any way. If it had been the local hustings for Edinburgh Southwest,
yeah,
and no one else, you'd expect the same. I would say, if you watched it and you didn't know these were supposed to be Christians, you would have had no indication whatsoever that, hey, these are not normal type of candidates. Now, my question I was left with, and I genuinely don't know the answer to it, is it that these people are not pro-life? They don't understand it. They haven't got a clue. They're in churches where they never hear about it. They've just taken the mainstream mush of church culture in many sort of denominations, church streams or whatever. And so they really don't know what they're talking about. So they really are not pro-life and they just waffle the same lines as anyone else. Or is it that they are pro-life, but they're thinking, whoa, this is not going to get on well. I'm going to be, there's going to be reports on me in the Herald tomorrow morning if I say something pro-life. My party won't be happy, so I'll just shut up and just waffle some of the standard lines. Which is it? My feeling is it's the former. It's not that they believe it and don't want to say they don't believe it.
You think they genuinely don't? They genuinely don't believe that protecting they genuinely believe that it's okay to have an abortion like the day before the baby's born.
Yeah, or earlier as well. But I tried to move attention just to the main mass of abortions, the tens of thousands.
Yeah.
But basically, I think virtually all of them didn't see the problem.
Wow.
It was quite scary. If some of them, maybe one of them, I had a slight indication that maybe she was trying to say something a bit pro-life at the beginning, but then she was straight on to, but obviously we need to still allow abortion. That was the sort of line she was going down. So I'm going to make a video about it. I might call this something like, if you're a Christian, please don't vote for the Christians.
that might exclude us.
Well, I'll explain the video. I think it's counterproductive. If you've got, let's say everyone in the hustings gets elected next time.
Yeah.
Okay, then you've got 6 people who are saying, I'm a Christian. Abortion can carry on, that's fine. And then you've got me saying, I'm a Christian. This is right. Then the media and the wider Scotland will look, well, I know what Christians think, because this is what 6/7 of them think.
Right. Yes,
so that must be what Christians think. So he must be just some lunatic extremist. He doesn't really represent
the Christian.
So
yeah.
So at the end of the day, I don't want them to get elected. I would rather people who are not Christians. If we're going to have people arguing for the killing of the unborn, I'd rather they weren't Christians.
I mean, so you say that they said that they are Christian on the basis that they're Christian, but that has such a scale as well. Because I question that. Like, how can you genuinely be okay with the sheer number? Like before I was aware of the sheer scale of the abortion situation in Scotland, my main issue was education. But then as soon as I became aware of it, it became my number one issue. It really, it just.
Lots of people report that, don't they? They have an awakening on the issue because they're insulated from it. And I would guess that's the case for a lot of these candidates. I would imagine that they went away from that hustings thinking, wow, what happened there? What
did I just say? Yes, yeah.
No, well, not what was this other fella saying? I've never heard anything like that before. I genuinely think it would be totally new to them.
Yeah, it might be, but it must be at least something that plays on the conscience that you're saying, and I wonder if the latter situation where they're saying my party has already said that this is an okay thing to do and therefore need to justify it to the other Christians.
Yeah, I mean the parties would say it's a matter of conscience, but I think they're just thinking it would potentially destroy their election campaign or destroy their career. So maybe I'm more on the side. I think they don't really believe it, that they're not actually pro-life underneath it all. But I mean, John just saying there, the reform lady, she said something like, I once, was she a vet or something? She once said, I once like delivered some kittens that were almost fully formed when the mother died. And she said it was quite traumatic because obviously kittens. And her point seemed to be that abortions towards full term, that's going to be very traumatic for the doctors and nurses.
Oh, yeah.
Which, okay, fair point, but it's not the main point.
No.
But in reform, but she said, I am pro-choice. If I'm remembering rightly, I'm pretty sure I'm right. She said, I am pro-choice. But she said about, maybe the time limit needs to come down a couple of weeks or whatever. But very much, I am pro-choice. I mean, that's someone you might think in reform, maybe in the Conservatives, you could get away with saying you were pro-life. Maybe.
I'd like to think you could, yeah.
I've heard of
the risk of being chopped.
Yeah, I've heard of people being told off by reform to stop talking about abortion. I've heard of someone who had that happen to them.
Okay.
So I don't know. So anyway, keep your eye open for the video. It'll be out
yes.
probably tomorrow night. Quite an eye opener.
I'm saddened a little bit, actually.
Yeah, that's the way I feel after it. Just that you feel as much as I don't know what the word is, the outsider, the oddball, the one going against the flow. You feel that just as much in the Christian hustings as you do in any other. But in the others, you feel like, well, okay, this is the way it's supposed to be.
It's understandable. Yes. Yeah.
But then with the Christian one, okay, just to stick with it, what do they go away thinking? Do they go away thinking, right, that was really bad what he did, like that, trying to put us on the spot? I don't know. I would love to talk to some of them. Maybe I'll get the chance to sometime. Anyway, just to finish, from the Catholic Herald, the Holy See has called for an end to eugenic practices linked to prenatal screening and termination of babies with Down syndrome. Well, absolutely. It's already our policy.
Hoorah.
Already our policy.
Yes, exactly.
And I'll just, actually, a couple of events to mention. Scottish Family Party campaign launch.
Yes.
Come and join us in Glasgow on the Saturday, the 11th of April, 10:30 till 12:30. The actual event is 11 till 12. So it's in Glasgow. It's in a hotel in the south of Glasgow, Saturday, the 11th of May. But a couple of hustings events. There's one in, I think it's Coat Bridge on the 22nd. But there's one in Edinburgh on the 24th of April, which is on the topic of bioethics. So this sort of thing is very relevant to it. So bioethics hustings. What could be better?
Cool. Are you going to both? You'll be there at both?
Yes. Yeah.
Well done. Awesome.
The one in Edinburgh, I think that will be a unique event. I'm not sure there's been anything like that has happened in Scotland before, a bioethics hustings. So nice. That is going to be fantastic. So do put that in your diary. What's the date again? I said it's that's the 22nd of April is the bioethics hustings in Edinburgh, in the Eric Liddell Centre in Edinburgh.
Right.
Our time has. I'll just do one more. This was good. So the Greens, well, the Scottish Parliament's already taken the voting age down to 16. The UK government is looking at doing the same thing. Okay. And my argument against it has always been that you're having kids voting while they're still very much under the influence of school.
Exactly.
And kids will start using their votes to demand things about school.
Yeah.
It's like if you give votes to prisoners, the consequence is the prisoners start saying to the politicians, right, this is what we'd like.
We need more prisoners.
Yeah. So So they got votes down to 16. Now the Greens want to ban homework and school exams.
Oh my goodness.
So the Greens are saying, hey, kids, vote for us. No more homework, no more exams.
That is horrendous.
Yeah. And also, they play this. I've got a clip to share. It's maybe in the slides. I won't find it. But a case where they've got kids back from 2021, when the exams were cancelled, and they were given wildly inflated grades because the teachers were just being nice. Then the SQA, because they've got some statisticians in there, said, whoa, let's just rein this in a little bit. This is crazy. And then the kids all went bananas and complained about it. John Swinney said, I'm not changing it. This is right. This is what the statisticians say. It's fair. We're sticking with it. But then a few kids went and waved some placards outside the Scottish Parliament. So John Swinney said, okay, fair enough. We just keep your ridiculously high grades, and that's fine.
Wow.
So now kids are taking this grudge that their grades were stolen from them. And now the Labour Party is saying, we know that your grades were stolen from you. We think this is a terrible injustice. You should vote for us.
Wow. No, this is terrible. This is, manipulation 101. And they're going to go for, like, I don't know. I would just say, it means that we've just devalued politics, because now we're going to go, okay, no school on Fridays. Yay. That's like
we're halfway there on Fridays already. What about Thursdays?
Yeah, Thursday. Yeah. 2-day week, 2-day school week. Like why not just be ridiculous and ruin the entire generation?
Homework, fair enough. I mean, what about all the other work they have you doing in schools? I mean, that's hardly fun, is it? As well.
I don't. Yeah, probably
quite stressful. I mean, exams. I mean, who likes exams? I mean, much better off with that. I mean, it's just
it's terrible.
And I guess the sad thing is, talking about that, what difference will that issue make to the Green Party's vote? Or well, it's the mainstream parties based in Scotland are supporting this. What difference will it make in the election campaign? What difference will it make to their vote? Very, very little. Hopefully the kids have got more sense.
I'd like to think they do, actually. Yeah, I'd like to. Well,
we shall see. We shall see.
Sure.
Right. Thanks for watching, everyone. Do keep an eye open tomorrow for the Logos Hustings video I'm going to make. I phoned them up. I phoned the lady up this morning, and in trepidation, I said, is it okay to use the video footage, to clip it and edit it and use it for the family party? And I was really expecting her to say, no, we'd rather you didn't do that. But she said, no, that's fine, which absolutely she should do, because this is politics. This is the way politics work. You do things publicly, and people pick up on what other people say and respond to what other people say. So that is the way it works, and it's absolutely the right decision. So I was delighted to have that. And so tomorrow I'll be down to work putting something together on that front.
Well done, them. I think that was awesome.
Yes. Yeah. Very good. Right. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you next week. Thanks for watching those watching later on. So good night, Gareth.
Thanks for having me. Good night.